The 70s were a time of culinary experimentation.
Some of the 70s cooking techniques and recipes are pure nostalgic. If we somehow traveled back to the 1970s, these are the 25 forgotten foods we would try. Number 25. Pineapple upside down cake. All our granny's old cookbooks from the 70s seem to have this classic dessert on the front of them. This cake is made by putting the pineapple slices and cherries on the bottom of the baking pan or cast iron fry pan. Then the fruit is covered with the cake batter. You flip the cake upside down after baking so the fruit is on top. It's one of the most comforting and delightful desserts you can make, and really simple too. Served with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, you can't beat it. You can also try it with coffee, but no ice cream. Kids used to love this one in the 70s. It's absolutely summery and nostalgic. It was an addiction to some, to the point where hearing the name would excite them beyond reason and drive them to have one for the night. Others baked them with their own baking experts like Mom. It was the family's big favorite. Number 24. Philadelphia Cheesecake Bars. Philadelphia cheesecake bars were the bomb, but were they really? Did we forget the aftertaste? We would still probably be eating one of those bad boys now. However, if we talk about pregnant women, they would have more than one because this was the go-to snack for them. They wanted these their entire pregnancy. Don't tell anyone, but we have heard of some mad lads that finished an entire box of these in one sitting, even if their moms got mad at them. We might be remembering them wrong, but they never looked like this when we bought them. They were, unfortunately, always mushed. If you don't like them mushed, then just take any cheesecake recipe on top of any crust you like, put the cheesecake in a pan, and bake it. Cut them into rectangles after they cool down. Carve out a channel in each using a spoon. Place a jam of your liking in the now carved channel and drizzle melted white chocolate on top. By the way, did anyone else also have a girl named Rachel in their freshman year that shared one of these with them out of her lunch every day? No? I guess we are the only ones that gained weight that year. Number 23. Crown Roast of Frankfurters. This one really isn't a food we'd want back, but it definitely shows that 70s folks were not afraid of experimenting. If you were a kid in the 70s and your mom could only cook a handful of things really well, she definitely tried this monstrosity for adventure. Can anyone with first-hand knowledge of this towering abomination tell us in the comments what is actually inside of the hot dog crown? Is it more hot dogs? Googling the recipe tells us that it's shredded cabbage. You stack up a big heap of cabbage, wrap a bunch of hot dogs around it, and bake it in the oven. Garnish with pimento on top. The gas a family of four produced after eating this must have been off the chart. That's why they kept the kids outside. Little Betty and Bobby knew that the day after this abomination, they were at risk of blowing up the house when Mom lit her cigarette. Number 22. Baron von Redberry and Sir Grape were two cereals released by General Mills in 1972. The first cereal was berry flavored, while the latter cereal was grape flavored. Both contained marshmallows. The characters were said to be World War I pilots who had a rivalry over whose cereal was best. We believe the winner between the two depends on the personal preference and taste of the individual. One thing we know for sure is that they both lost the war in 1979, as that's when they were discontinued. The cereal itself was delicious, but the pink and purple milk they left as we finished our cereal was even more delicious. The two pilots didn't only bring cereal to our breakfast table, but also some goodies like a diving sub and a frogman that worked for some but didn't properly work for others. Some of us had to save up money and pay for our favorite pilots ourselves, as our parents did not allow us to pre-sweeten cereals. Number 21. Space Food Sticks. They came 6 to a box, which is plenty for a kid.
That's why they make the perfect between-meal energy snack. energy for...
but a problem for a household of 4 kids. This meant war, and if physical fights were not allowed in the household, it meant psychological warfare, and the winners kept the remaining 2. They came in 2 flavors, and we loved the peanut butter flavor because anything that came with peanut butter meant they were energy bars. These were the energy bars for us kids growing up back then, especially when they made us feel like astronauts, and everybody wanted to be an astronaut back then. They were of course very rubbery, but no other food offered a pathway for being either an astronaut or a BMX rider. Those of us that weren't allowed space food sticks would go into the business of trading their other food and snacks for space food sticks. The famous space food sticks later became food sticks as the hype of the moon landing wore off, but we still love them just as much. Number 22, Marathon Bar. Marathon Bar, just like the name suggests, eating them was a marathon as they lasted a good long time. This was one of everyone's favorite candy bars because it had both caramel and chocolate. Movies or studying? Marathon was the answer. Marathon was the candy of choice at the movies because unlike other snacks, Marathon would last a good period of the movie. We especially enjoyed our time at the drive-in watching Raiders of the Lost Ark with Marathon in our hand.
Marathon satisfies you. If I'm walking around town or anything and I feel hungry or...
Marathon was just the right kind of motivation needed to have the kids memorize their multiplication tables, days of the week, the months of the year. Who else here froze them in the freezer and later whacked them on the counter so it was shattered and make them bite-sized? The bar would come with a ruler, and don't worry, the whacking didn't break it because it was on the back of the wrapper. Number 19, Screaming Yellow Zonkers. This is the after-school treat for many kids, Screaming Yellow Zonkers. What made them better as a celebration treat was having them after our final exams in college. We still feel them getting stuck to our teeth, but we ate them anyway unless we had fillings. Then that was a problem, because we would rather give up the fillings than our special treat, the Screaming Yellow Zonkers. Who else ate them every day until they were sick? They were like a drug, or even better when you had the stoner munchies. They were super delicious and fun because they came with a toy of their own. Which Screaming Yellow Zonkers did you guys love? The caramel coating one or the lighter, sweet, much less chewy coating that didn't get all caught in your teeth? Some of us more unfortunate ones only got to see the ads for these all the time, but never got to taste them. We wish they were back, even if just for those guys because we all learned to share. Number 18, Dela Rolls. Does anyone remember Dela Rolls, also known as Danish ribbons or Broadway licorice rolls? They were strawberry flavored, very firm and thin, usually curved in a ring shape like a flat red licorice that we used to buy from the ice cream truck. There are 0 images online, and nowadays there is nothing like them on the market, while our trusty best friend can't even produce a single image of the wrapper. We have searched for a suitable replacement and failed miserably. That's how ancient Dela Rolls have become, which leads me to say that I would do things for one. Bad things. We challenge you to find a single picture of even just the wrapper. Number 17, Freakies. How about our next item on this list? We are Freakies, we are Freakies, we live in the freaky tree. The very short-lived Freakies. Was the cereal's lifespan so short because the short height of the Freakies? We have some memories attached to this one as well, as it was the last sugary cereal our mom let us have before she got all healthy on us. But for the less fortunate of us, the commercials and the boxes in the market were all they saw of this amazing cereal. We still have the little figurines and magnets. Let us know how many of the figurines and magnets did you guys collect, and if you managed to collect them all. If you ever wanted some coupons, all you had to do was write them a letter explaining how the marshmallow content went way down later in the years, as one of our friends did.
Ready. Let's do this.
Number 16. Kugel Peanut Butter. Here comes Kugel with the cuckoo googly eyes. The peanut butter that came in 3 flavors: cinnamon, banana, and chocolate. All the flavors were amazing. They came in a glass jar with a brown lid, and the logo had the 2 O's on it, looking like googly eyes. The foil seal under the lid had those eyes on it, with the saying, "Here's looking at you, kid." Not sure we wanted to be looked at by googly eyes, but we loved the peanut butter, so they got a pass. A chocolate Google and raspberry fluff sandwich on wheat bread was a whole lot of heaven. We tried them with celery sticks too, and they tasted just as good as they did on sandwiches. Our friends had mixed feelings about this one though, as some of them loved it and others were disgusted by it. There was no middle ground. It was either a household item or you didn't keep it in your house after trying it for the first time. Let us know which flavor was your favorite. We love the banana flavor. Number 15. Cheese and Pineapple Hedgehog. We'll give you a hint about this item. No hedgehogs were harmed in the making of it. Let us know if you guessed it right. They are little skewers of cheddar cheese and tin pineapple stuffed into half a grapefruit that has been covered in tin foil. You have probably guessed this famous party item by now. Yes, we're talking about the Cheese and Pineapple Hedgehog. You could find one of these at every kid's party and every family event, but now they're gone. Cheese and pineapple is a great combination, and making it look like a hedgehog, the kids loved it. Remember helping your mother prepare for the dinner parties? Preparing it was just as fun and enjoyable as eating. You could get the entire family involved in the process and make a memory of it for ages to come. You can still make memories with it now. Just throw a nostalgia party and voila, you are back in the 70s. Number 14. Hamburger, beans, and onions. Every family did this one differently, and they all had their own name for it.
I like to use this measuring pitcher because then I only dirty one measuring device. The half cup of water and the ketchup go together, then into the pan.
The ingredients included hamburger, chopped onions, meat, and beans. You would add different spices to it to adjust the taste to your liking. We like to add ketchup or chili sauce with mustard to the mix, and it would make the most enjoyable sloppy Joe burger you could get your hands on. No matter how you made it or what you added to it, everyone liked and enjoyed munching on it. This is a recipe that was cross-referenced amongst family, and each time it would evolve into something new and better as each family would bring its own bling to it. Every single Midwestern community cookbook had 5 to 10 versions of this in it. Number 13. Pineapple Chicken. We all like pineapple, and we all like chicken. Now put them together, and you are gonna love pineapple chicken. All you need is one of each and the following: pineapple, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, white onion, and eggs. 2 pounds chicken thighs, a 1/3 cup cornstarch, a 1/3 cup salted peanuts or cashews, and Thai chili for garnish. Pineapple chicken is extremely tasty, but some may not like the pineapple bowl, as it is not the most practical, and even then, this item gets devoured. Depending on the size of the pineapple and the bowl you have made out of it, you might want to go for another serving. Our own little secret to not let the pineapple overpower the taste of the dish is that the soy sauce and the other ingredients really help balance it. Let us know in the comment section if you want to know how to make one for yourself, and we'll tell you how. Number 12. Jello and its obsession. Jello, we love it. We know for sure you love it too. Everyone seemed obsessed with it back in the day. Everyone wanted to learn how to make it, and it was so easy to make too. Whoever originally thought of putting recipes on the boxes should have some sort of special award because they made it easy for everyone to make their favorite Jello. Let's delve into why we were so obsessed with them. The obsession with Jello started with good marketing, since powdered, unflavored gelatin was mostly a dud and used primarily for savory applications anyway. The ladies behind Jello marketed it as a dessert by adding fruit flavors. After World War I, when sugar was rationed, Having a dessert that was quick and didn't involve kneading sugar was something that appealed to a lot of people. Marketing again brought Jello to great heights in the 70s by using magazine ads to appeal to women and using the idea of keeping up with the Joneses. Refrigerators weren't very efficient until the 70s, so having a modern fridge was definitely something to brag about, and serving a perfectly layered Jello dessert was a great way to do it. Number 11. AIDS. AIDS. Did you ever want to lose weight, and especially do so while eating candy?
Taken with a hot drink before meals, AIDS helps you curb your appetite.
Well, the 70s had it all. Yes, AIDS was the go-to candy for mothers and grandmothers alike that wanted to lose weight because it had a lot of fiber, the result of which was great digestion. No food stuck around the stomach to be burned into fat, so we lost weight deliciously with the aid of AIDS. AIDS is an appetite suppressant candy that was popular between 1970 to early 1980s. For years, the candy was marketed as a weight loss dietary product. When the AIDS epidemic took over America in the early 1980s, AIDS sales declined due to customer confusion. Our obese friend's mom put him on a diet using AIDS. He was supposed to drink hot tea and eat a couple of AIDS half an hour before each meal. He managed to successfully lose 20 pounds. AIDS worked. Do you know anyone that lost weight using AIDS? AIDS. Number 10. 1970s sandwiches. We totally ate peanut butter, banana, and mayonnaise sandwiches growing up and lived to tell about it. The mayonnaise worked to keep the rest of the sandwich from sticking to the roof of our mouth. Let us give you our personal notes. Go easy on the peanut butter and be generous with the lettuce and mayo. The tardiness of the mayo and sweet and saltiness of the peanut butter paired with a thick bed of crisp iceberg lettuce is one of those favorite combinations you can't expect and is extremely light and refreshing.
That's supposed to be classic crab paste, but it also includes haddock.
The California Delight is perhaps the most delicious and familiar looking. It's essentially a meat, lettuce with cream cheese and avocado, a very exotic ingredient for the mid-1970s. Sandwiches were fun and creative. One popular idea was the hoagie, a long roll stuffed with meat, cheese, and veggies. People loved adding Italian cold cuts and zesty sauces. Another big hit was the Sloppy Joe, a messy but tasty sandwich made with ground beef, tomatoes, and spices. For a cool twist, people made club sandwiches, which were stacked with turkey, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes on toasted bread. There was also the grilled cheese with a twist, where people added extras like tomato slices to the gooey cheese. PB&J was a classic too, simple but delicious with peanut butter and jelly. In the 70s, sandwiches were a creative and tasty way to enjoy meals. Number 9. Jello 1, 2, 3. Back in the day, the American company Jello made a product called Jello 1, 2, 3, which was like a dessert superhero. Imagine mixing up this magical powder with water, then popping it into the fridge. As it chilled, something amazing happened. It separated into 3 layers right before your eyes. First, there was a fluffy, creamy top layer, then a smooth middle layer, and finally a jiggly bottom layer. Kids and adults were fascinated by its transformation and loved the fruity flavors like strawberry and orange. It became a staple at family gatherings and parties, adding a fun and colorful touch to dessert time. Jello 1, 2, 3 wasn't just a treat. It was a delightful experience that brought joy and excitement to the dinner table. It became a big hit at parties and family dinners because it was so fun and tasty. Everyone thought it was the best thing they had ever made, but it was fairly short-lived. It became a staple at family gatherings and parties, dazzling both kids and adults with a playful texture. Making the Jello and waiting for it to form into layers was half the fun and taught us a lesson in patience. We loved it. The middle layer was our favorite, the top not so much, because it had the weirdest texture, and at the same time we were baffled by how the layers formed on their own. If you ever miss them and want to taste them again, then you can make them yourself, as they put the recipe on the side of the boxes, which you can find an image of. Number 8. Carnation Breakfast Bars. Carnation breakfast bars were a big hit. They were chewy bars you could eat quickly, making them perfect for busy mornings. These bars had a yummy taste, kind of like a treat, but they were also good for you. They were packed with vitamins and minerals to help people start their day strong. Moms loved them because they were easy to pack in a lunchbox or grab on your way out the door.
Whenever I'm in a rush and don't have time for breakfast or a snack, I often find myself grabbing a granola bar.
Kids enjoyed them because they came in fun flavors like chocolate and peanut butter. Carnation breakfast bars made mornings simpler and more fun, helping everyone get ready for their day with a tasty and healthy snack. Our circle of friends practically lived on the peanut butter ones through high school, and we still have not found anything anywhere nearly as good. The texture was just so good, nothing has come close to it since then. This was the go-to snack for when you had the munchies. And you know when we had the munchies? One of our friends loved them so much that when they stopped making them, he wrote to the company and begged them to keep making them, but unfortunately for us all, they didn't listen to him. In most families, the moms would shop for Carnation breakfast bars in preparation for special events, like when the family was going to visit Grandma, or when there was a trip coming up, so they wouldn't have to deal with washing any breakfast dishes on the morning of the trip. Moms in other families would buy them for the next week, but we all know the kids would go through the entire thing on the weekend. Who else's mom hid them so they don't disappear in an instant? Number 7. Mr. Bones. There was a fun candy called Mr. Bones. It was a bit different from other candies because it came in the shape of little bones. Each piece of candy looked like a part of a skeleton, like an arm or a leg.
But now, 18 years after the final nail had seemingly been hammered into that little plastic coffin,
kids could take these bone candies and put them together to make a full skeleton. The candy was sweet and crunchy, and the box looked like a tiny coffin, which made it even more exciting and a bit spooky. Mr. Bones candy was a playful treat that let kids build and eat their own skeletons, making it a favorite during Halloween and other fun times. You could make good practical use of the coffins, like putting your dead fish in it and burying it, and holding a funeral for it, while others kept their change in the coffins and, even better, some treasures. The skeleton parts, on the other hand, weren't always all there, so you didn't always get to make a full skeleton, as the skeleton parts were random. The fun part, however, was when a bunch of friends would get together and each would bring their coffins to see how many full skeletons we could form with all our skeleton parts put together. Some of us didn't care about the fun part of it and just wanted the sugar rush, so all the parts would just go straight down our mouths without assembling them first. We recall them being as hard as stones, but also stale and powdery. Super fun though. What's the candy like in your recollection? Number 6. Fish balls. Fish balls were a popular snack and meal ingredient. Made from fish meat, they were shaped into round balls. People would grind up the fish, mix it with some flour and seasonings, and then roll it into little balls. These fish balls could be boiled, fried, or steamed. They were especially loved by Asian countries like Hong Kong and Singapore, where you could find them at street food stalls. Fish balls were often served in soups with noodles, or on skewers as a quick snack. They were tasty, easy to make, and affordable, making them a favorite for many families. Number 5. Fluffy mackerel pudding. In the 70s, there was a funny and interesting recipe called fluffy mackerel pudding. Imagine a fishy, fluffy dish that looks like a cake but tastes like seafood. People used mackerel, a type of fish, and mixed it with eggs, milk, and breadcrumbs to make a soft pudding-like texture. Then they would bake it in the oven until it was all cooked and puffy. Then again, this was a creative way to make meals exciting and different. It might sound strange now, but in the 1970s, folks loved trying out quirky recipes like this one.
This is what they, the size of them. So they could have been made in these little cups that we have, or I don't know.
It was a time of culinary adventures and experimenting with new flavors. Number 4. Slender Quenchers. These are the saddest diet beverages ever. The one on the right is skim milk with orange pulp. The one on the left is made with water, sherry extract, and 2 beef bouillon cubes. Some variations were not an abomination like these. One favorite Slender Quencher was the Tab soda. It was a diet soda that tastes sweet but had fewer calories. People drank it to stay slim and enjoy a fizzy treat. Another popular drink was iced tea. It was simple to make by brewing tea, cooling it down, and adding ice. Sometimes they added lemon or sugar for extra flavor. Lemonade was also a hit, made with fresh lemons, water, and sugar. It was perfect for hot summer days. Slender Quenchers in the 1970s were all about staying cool and feeling refreshed without too many calories. These drinks were a big part of summer fun and hanging out with friends. Number 3. Caucasian Sash Lick. This was a popular dish. It's like barbecue, but from the Caucasian region, which includes countries like Georgia and Armenia. People would take chunks of meat, usually lamb, and marinate it in a mix of vinegar, onions, and spices. This made the meat super tasty and tender. Then they'd put the meat on long metal sticks called skewers and cook it over an open fire or grill. The smoky flavor from the fire made the sash lick extra delicious. Families and friends would gather, especially on weekends, to enjoy this special treat together, making it a fun and social meal. Number 2. Mexican Shrimp Orange Salad. We guess this is a salad best enjoyed at the house of that one scary lady down the street.
I'm going to make seven kebabs. I think 7 going to be plenty for 2 people.
Who never leaves the house and talks to her knickknacks. Imagine juicy shrimp, which are little sea creatures mixed with sweet, tangy orange slices. They would also add crunchy veggies like bell peppers and onions. To make it more exciting, they'd throw in some spicy flavors with chili peppers and lime juice. Sometimes they'd add avocado for a creamy touch. This salad was all about mixing different textures and flavors to make each bite interesting. It was a refreshing and zesty dish, perfect for hot summer days and parties. Everyone enjoyed it because it was tasty and looked beautiful on the table. Number 1. Snacks on a stick. This is frozen coffee, people. Yeah, it almost sounds kind of good until you freeze a whole bunch and take them out and look at them and hit a few of them together and hear them go chunk chunk and say, "Ooh, this is worse than I thought," and drop the whole tray on the floor in disgust. You take a cup of coffee, freeze it into a solid ice block, and put it on a stick like a popsicle.
Some butter, and this butter I'm going to use to rub it on the kebab.
It was perfect for people who love coffee but wanted something cool and refreshing. You could lick and nibble on it just like you would with any other popsicle, but instead of fruity or creamy flavors, it tasted like delicious coffee. This treat was especially popular on hot summer days. It was a simple and delightful way for grown-ups to enjoy their favorite coffee in a new, fun form, combining the joy of a frozen snack with the rich flavor of coffee. These were the 25 forgotten foods from the 1970s. Comment below if you think we missed your favorites. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.